to round 6 of the CXR MX5 League Season 2 at Donington Park National. Unfortunately, Ruben's gone AWOL, so we can take the mick out of him until he pops his head in. So at the moment, it's just me with Phil supporting.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, so this should be a good one. I do like myself a bit of Donington National. Everyone seems to be having a bit of trouble in this car as well with a bit of sliding action. So,
Just, as you just see in the feed there, someone doing a Yui in the middle of the grass.
yeah.
Should be intriguing. Quali's underway. They are, I think it's roughly coming up to 8 minutes through the session. So they're over halfway now. And currently, there's no surprise, drum roll, Jaime Torres, is currently leading with a 118.7, with Alex Hurt in second and Iron Martin in third. So you'll see following this that it's the regular names up there. I'm just scrolling through the list at the moment. The only person not to have gone out at the moment and posted a time is Dennis Meisner. So hopefully he'll go out track shortly and get that in. Quite spread of times at the moment, so I suspect they'll come down as a tire warm-up. But they seem to be having a bit of trouble keeping hold of the car on this track with a new tyre model. We've been noticing in practice.
Right. I realised what my problem was with Discord. I turned everyone down a bit yesterday. And now we should be back to normal.
So Mr. Torres has just put in a new fastest lap, a 118.74.
Yep, you can
improving ever so slightly.
You can probably return back to the same distance you were from the mic before I said move closer to the mic now, because yeah, it's good and loud. It's loud and clear.
So feel free to put a comment on Where's Ruben. We can play Where's Wally, but we'll play Where's Ruben.
Yeah, we'll play Where's Ruben
until he sticks his bumps in.
Hey, everybody!
Hey, it's Ruben.
It's Ruben. Ruben's here. Cheers to the sub, Kieran. Cheers, mate.
Feel free to put some entertaining comments in the chat or any questions you've got, and we'll do our best to answer them. So, believe it or not, after tonight, just 2 weeks left of the season. Currently on the standings, Mr. Torres is currently running away with it, I think it's safe to say. Rome Martin is in second, but he's nearly 40 points behind. So if results go Torres' way tonight, he could actually wrap it up mathematically. I think realistically he's probably won it. But, you know, strange things have happened. In the Amateur League, keep you guys posted. Kenneth Andreasen is also in a similar position. He's romping away with the Amateur Championship. Darren Goble currently second, but unfortunately can't make tonight due to work commitments. So that gives Chris Needham an opportunity, if he gets a good result tonight, to overtake him into second.
It sure does. And cheers for the follow, Rave Manco. And the 1 year subscription from Kieran. So amazing there from Kieran. Cheers, man.
Blimey, have we been streaming for a year on and off, have we?
We have.
Jeez,
at least over that, I would say.
What, on iRacing? Yeah, of course.
No, maybe not on iRacing, but
I'm trying to.
Good evening.
Oh, here he is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sorry, had some junior issues.
No, I did say that. I did say that. I said that.
What's the matter? You're not potty trained or something?
I am. No. It's all sorted. So I'm back. Okay. Good evening to
Phil needs to play his tannoy where it goes clean up in R4 needed or something like that.
Clean up in R4. Clean up in R4.
Oh dear. So everything's sorted then, that's the way.
Everything's sorted. Yeah, mate.
We even delayed it for you, Ruben. We thought that we gotta go. You'll poke your head in.
So
you've not missed anything exciting, believe it or not. If I was to ask you who do you think's on pole, you'll probably guess it. So
yeah, but I am surprised to see Mr. Hurd currently in second.
Yeah, he is a 10th ahead of Aaron Martin, who's just gone back in the pit, ironically.
A 10th? Make that 8,000s?
fuck's sake, it's a 10th, isn't it? No, is it a 10th
No,
or is it 100? It's
no,
100,
it's 100,
sorry.
mate.
It's 100, sorry, I got 1 decimal point out.
Yeah, no, it's close.
It's a fucking bonnet lid, isn't it, if that, so... It's a coat of paint or something, I don't know. Anyway, just looking at the times, they spread out a bit. In practice, they were 12 of them, just over a second between them, but in quali, they're all spreading out a little bit. But there's some entertaining events in practice, so we'll see what the race brings.
Yeah, it's a tough track. We've spoken to a couple of drivers in this league who did some practice earlier and yesterday and the days before, and yeah, it seems to be a tough track for the Mazda MX5s with the new tire model. So especially that first sector where we're gonna see who's it now that we're following. Is
it Dennis Miles? No, we're watching.
Yeah, it's Dennis Miles.
Yeah. So the bit where he comes through now, with the right-hander immediately following that, yeah, that's...
You can see it sliding around, and with the colder tyres, it's...
Oh, and we saw CXR car in the grass. I wonder if that was Ben.
I'll have a little look on the... yes, it was. Well spotted. Bonus points for you. He's parked up on the grass. He's gone to the pit now, so...
Yeah. So let's hope it's the race will be more action-packed than... I think we can all agree that was the less or least exciting race of the season so far.
Well, commentators curse.
For the first couple of laps, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had this last year at Donington from memory, albeit we were racing in the was it touring cars, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a great race here at the touring cars. That was a great race, if I say so myself.
Is that the one you actually won, was it?
Yeah, I won the first and last. All in between doesn't matter.
That's why it's such a good. But from memory, I think it spread out a little bit, a bit like Laguna last week. But hopefully, this track has got a lot of undulations and climbs and dips and stuff, so it's going to make the cars quite lively.
Yeah,
so
still the gaps aren't that big. If we look at Duncan Kirby, Chris Slaymaker, Daniel James, Craig Harris, it seems fairly close. So I mean.
Oh, Ben's having trouble with the MX5 again. He's just gone off again. I think he's probably going to wrap it up because quali is now over. So it will be the guys that are out on track on the current lap will count. But this is a good track. It is a good fun track.
It definitely is good.
I noticed Phil didn't choose his favourite one, the GP version.
Don't talk to me about that version of the track.
Mr. Torres is currently on the fastest first two sectors. Purple in both. So there could be potentially something in the tank still to extract out of the 118.7 he's already posted. I'll have a quick look. Is Alex Hart on the track? No, he's in the pit. Ron Martin's in the pit, so really there's nothing. Oh, Luis Santiago's just spun, so he's not going to improve his lap. So it's Torres is he's
done a quicker lap.
Yeah, he's just gone through slightly quicker, roughly a tenth, wasn't it?
Yep.
But again, he's done this last couple of races actually, where he's suddenly squeezed nearly half a second between him and the next second place driver, which he's almost done here again. So I think that's all the guys done there. They're all back in the pits looking at the screen. And as punishment for coming in late, Ruben, you get to do the grid when it comes up.
That's no problem at all, mate. No problem at all.
In Dutch? No, I'm joking.
Well, the names stay the same, so I mean...
Yeah, but you got to like on the first row, the second row, blah blah blah.
Oh, okay, I'll do it in Dutch, no problem. Waiting for that. There we go.
Actually, who was learned? I can't remember. Was it Neil?
Yeah, that was Neil.
So, by the way, in RC tonight we both have Neil and Aaron. So let's see if they got a lot to do tonight. I suspect there might be a few in the first few laps from the time before they warm up.
Thank you, Phil. So, in the first row, we got Jamie Torres and Alex Hurd. Second row, Irio Martin and Luis Santiago. Third row, Duncan Kirby and Chris Slaymaker. Fourth row, Daniel James, Craig Harris. Fifth row, Hector Ramirez and Yannick Fouquet. Sixth row, Arnaud Chanonier and Kenneth Andreessen. Cheers for the follow. And I'm waiting for the others.
Sorry, it hasn't.
And there we go, no problem, no problem. Seventh row, Chris Needham and Dennis Meisner. Eighth row, David Patterson and Ben Charlton. And the ninth row, Jason Headington and Matt Grant.
Is that Phil know your shit Dougal? Or Phil, you've got one job, Dougal. That's your new one. Right, so boys taking the grid.
Is this a rolling start?
Hope not.
Oh shit!
That's going to confuse everyone. Phil, you had two jobs and failed both.
Oh Jesus! Oh.
Neil, if Neil's in race control, can you just put a message up just to let him know that it's likely to be, well, it's going to be a rolling start?
Yeah, nothing to change about it now.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about
I
it
think
now.
they've tweaked. Yeah.
I love the reaction of Phil though.
That
Oh,
can make the
sorry,
season's
guys.
highlights, wouldn't it?
I'm sorry, but oh yeah.
Still, they're going with it, looking at it, so hey, can't
Well,
be bad.
they've got a short amount of time to maybe put a little bit of heat into the
Well,
tires.
that's what I was just thinking. It might actually.
Yeah,
be
it
beneficial.
might prove to be beneficial. We'll see, I guess.
They're all weaving around.
I think there are some people that maybe are glad that it's a rolling start.
We shall see.
We shall see, indeed. Makes
Someone's
it
just
interesting.
disconnected. Oh no, they're not disconnected. What's that one where they sort of go and disappear and come back? What's that called?
Oh, blink.
What's
Well,
the
like just
technical-
blinking.
Lincoln.
Yeah, yeah.
There we
Oh,
go. We got wave
crap,
flags.
yeah.
We go. We are going. We are racing, boys.
That bloke's excited on the bridge, isn't he?
Ooh, and Alex Hurd is dropping back quite a lot of positions. I think he went too soon. I'm not quite sure if he's going to get a drive-through penalty for it, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, on the bonus side, everyone appears to have gone through nice and clean, so no first corner pile-up.
No, don't curse it. Don't curse it.
Nah, they're through the first corner. It don't matter. I was just saying, first corner pile-up.
Yeah, first corner. That's true.
It's not a public lobby special, is it?
Oh. We saw Dennis Meisner on the back of, I think it was Mr. Chanonier. So Alex Hurd, who was in P2, dropped back to P11.
Oh,
Wow.
We've got somebody on the grass. And contact, yeah. And more contact there.
Oh,
Major contact.
ouch.
Oh,
hello.
Matt Grant's
Oh,
on
no,
his
it's
roof.
Matt Grant on his roof.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
No, and to be fair, he was the one that went on the grass. We couldn't quite see what was the cause of it, if it was a mistake of his own or maybe there was some contact that put him on the grass, but...
We'll get one job to do a replay in a minute.
And race control will have a look, of course.
Yeah, I'm
So,
sure. they will be
first lap
looking into
over.
that.
Mr. Torres is currently leading Martin in second, Santiago third, Duncan Kirby in fourth, and Chris Slaymaker, who's made it right at the last minute, in fifth. So that was good because he missed most of practice. Just having a look to see where our highest amateur is at the moment. I think.
And Alex Hurd is in the pit as well, so I'm thinking that he maybe went too soon and got a drive-through penalty because of it. Chris Needham is in the pit as well, but he's coming out right now. Matt Grant is showing out, so I'm not quite sure if he's out of the race or not. We've got a fast repair, as we know. And Daniel James is in the pit as well.
Well, where's Mr. Andreessen? Wow, full team. So the amateur drivers, the results are a little bit on their head at the moment, so we'll have to keep an eye on that later on.
Oh, I see Darren Goebel isn't racing tonight.
No,
He
so
was he
there was
second
an
in the amateur
He
class?
was,
I think he
yeah.
was.
There was an opportunity for Chris Needham to actually overtake him tonight because he was 10 points behind. But obviously, with that incident in the first lap there, it's sort of turned it on his head a little bit because he was actually the leading amateur, I think, on the first lap.
Yes. We see Craig Harris has overtaken Duncan Kirby and is currently in 5th position. Nice little on board. We jump over to Yannick Fouquet, who's right behind Mr. Ramirez. Oh, and he went a little bit wide. It's probably going to give him an off track. How many off tracks can they get, Phil?
20. 20 before a drive through. Yep.
You can really see that back end stepping out a little bit and turning when they go back on throttle. Oh, and we had some action through the chicane.
Ooh, sausage.
Yeah, I think Fouquet just broke a little bit too late, couldn't make it. And therefore, the position is to Arnaud Chenonnier.
Just looking at the front there, Mr. Martin is starting to put a bit of pressure on Mr. Torres now. He's 2 tenths behind. Just came through the first bottom of the hill in the first sector there. Now back up.
Santiago seems to be able to follow as well. There is a gap of almost 2 seconds to Chris Slaymaker, who's the second in front of Craig Harris.
They do look like they're squirming a little bit, don't they, these cars on this track?
Say that again?
I said they look like they are reacting a little bit more than usual on this track, but it is very, you can see obviously from the stream how undulating the track varies a lot.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of the other circuits we race at.
And what kind of track conditions are we racing with tonight, Phil?
Well, if you were here at the start, Ruben, you would have seen it.
Oh, the deep deck.
Oh! Hey, look, one job's got it up.
So we've got 21 track temperature.
Partly cloudy and mildly moist by the looks of the humidity. So 21 on the track and 18 ambient. And it's an evening race. Ooh. That's why they're only posting 119s at the moment.
Oh, there was, I think there was Fouquet blinking a little bit.
Yeah, someone just blinked and disappeared.
Back of Dennis Meisner. It's not a lot, he just disappeared for a second. But still we can see Martin chasing down Torres. Staying right on the back of his car, but Santiago is closing the gap as well. So that could be quite interesting. But they are pulling away. Lap ago I talked about the gap between Santiago and Slaymaker, and it was 1.8 seconds, and it's already 3.7.
Mr. Martin having a little look on the inside there, but I don't think he's quite far enough up before the chicane.
No, he's really putting the pressure on. Showing in the mirrors.
Mr. Santiago's trying to take advantage of the slow exit out of the chicane there by Martin.
So they are doing low 19s, but as you can see, Chris Slaymaker in 4th position does a 20.3. Duncan Kirby does a very high 19.9. And all the other drivers are in the 120s, mid to high 120s. So, yeah. Again, the top 3 do have the advantage pace-wise. But we've got a battle with 3 cars for the podium position, so that's nice to see. Here we've got Kenneth Andresen trying to take the position from Ben Charlton as he does. Puts it on the inside. Nicely done. Oh, there we've got a car going off.
Ouch. There
And
we
it's
go.
David Pedersen.
That's what we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
Which Phil did mention it would be that area where it goes downhill in sector 2. So
Yeah, that's definitely the difficult one on this track
just
with this car.
unsettles the car a little bit as you're turning down, isn't it? Is it turn 3? I'm trying to work out the corners in my head. Turn 3. Downward section.
Yeah, I think it's turn 3 and turn 4.
Yeah, just enough to unsettle the car a little bit more. So at the front is Martin just putting a little bit of pressure on. I suspect Mr. Torres has a little bit more pace if he needs it, because he sort of did that right at the end of quali. I know you weren't here, Ruben, but he seemed to just smashing the lap right at the end, half-second clear.
And I mean, he was the last one to really set a quicker lap time in, and it was about a 10th quicker. But
don't get me wrong, he was pole from like lap 2, but he just seemed to increase the hammer right at the end. Yeah, I'm sure Phil will be working on a sneak peek in the next week or two before he announces it.
Sure will be.
2 weeks left. 2 weeks left after tonight, and possibly a week in between just to get registrations in, etc. But yeah, I'm sure Phil will dazzle us all with his choice of car for next season. I think you need to put Monza short wherever you pick. Just to see the
nice
car.
little battle between Dennis Meisner and Yannick Fouquet.
Dennis Meisner's got the inside line here.
Oh, was there a little bit of contact? Not quite sure.
Maybe.
There you go, clean.
Got a good exit out there actually, Mr. Meisner.
Yeah, Fouquet was really on the back of him. Good evening, Kung Fu driver.
Kung Fu driver. Quality name. Oh, Mr. Torres just going a little bit wide there off the strip there.
Yes, Kieran, there is one fast repair for everybody still. My only mistake was the rolling start. I don't understand. What I don't understand is how you can choose use last settings, and I've never chosen to do a rolling start anywhere, and it chooses rolling start. I don't get that.
I don't know. One job, eh?
So we're looking at the battle between Duncan Kirby and Mr. Ramirez.
Did you remember to put fuel in the cars, Phil? Or they got like 3 laps?
Can you imagine? They only get to do 3 laps and then they have to pit every time.
So funny. Don't realise they ain't got any fuel to pit.
Yeah, well, I agree in that, Kieran. Although he was put on his roof, so I'm not quite sure if the damage was that. Yeah, if the damage was that big to not use a fast repair. But
is that possible then? Is it possible to over damage it so the fast repair doesn't come into play, sort of thing?
Well, I'm not quite sure what it does with a damaged engine, because if his engine is that damaged, then I think the fast repair doesn't repair that. So, but I'm not quite sure. Could be wrong. Oh, nice little battle again.
Freeway battle here. We're looking
at.
Between Arnold Chaninier, 4K, and Meisner. I think the 3, aren't they?
Yes, they are. We also, almost have a 3-way battle for P5 as well, with Ramirez being half second behind Duncan Kirby and Craig Harris only a second behind.
Oh no, Yannick 4K has spun.
Oh, his back's gone.
That's a shame.
Guess where as well.
Good anticipation by Arnaud Chanonier, by the way.
I couldn't fast repair because I forgot to switch it off before quali and used it. Been 30 minutes. Gutting.
That's a shame, Matt. Really a shame.
I didn't realise you could use it in quali. I thought it was just a race-specific setting.
Yeah, I thought it was only a race-specific setting. I didn't think you could use it in qualifying.
It would be weird, though, yeah. Oh,
I was
who's
just
that
about to
going
say.
off? Is that
Alex
Alex Bird?
Hurst. Yeah.
Oh, his engine's blown up.
No. Oh my god, it has as well. Big puff of smoke.
Wow.
Did he change down too early?
Could be. We know this car is very.
It's normally, from memory, I did it once ever in the MX5, and that was changing from second into first. That's the only time I've managed to blow it. So maybe he's
Yeah,
shifted down one
that's
too
good.
many.
That's good, Matt. Cheers for that. So, Martin still chasing down Torres. Santiago has dropped off. He's now 1.6 seconds behind the both two running in front. Oh, and there we see Duncan Kirby going very wide in the exit of turn one.
And Ramirez takes advantage. Thank you very much.
Yes, he does. So he's now going to chase down Chris Slaymaker for the 4th position. And Craig Harris is still following as well. So if Chris Slaymaker puts up a good defense and Duncan and Craig can get close to it, we've got a 4-way battle. So that's nice.
So just catching up on a couple of bits in the background. Race control obviously posted the incident in lap 1 is under investigation as we speak. So we'll keep posted if we hear anything on that.
Yeah, we couldn't quite see what happened to Matt when he went onto the grass, like I said before, but
Bit of a beautiful evening in Nottingham for this one. It is Nottingham, isn't it? It's nearer. Donington. Mark obviously will know.
No clue. I've got no clue. But I would imagine these sort of evenings are very rare in the UK.
Yeah, they sure are. Normally it's just pure rain.
Yeah. You get,
it's just
well,
grey.
It's raining where I am for some reason. Didn't realise, I wasn't expecting rain. I presume, Kieran, you meant it's not a pug. That's something you buy the missus, isn't it? It's a pig, I would have thought. I presume you meant. So, I'm getting the impression that the new tyre model on the MX5 is not making everyone particularly happy. Yeah, pig. Yeah.
Right, so we've got a nice little battle for P4 coming up. Ramirez slowly closing the gap to Chris Slaymaker, but Duncan is right on the back of him, and Craig Harris seems to close the gap as well. The GT3 easier than the MX5. Well, it's
I
been
wouldn't
a
agree
long
with
time
that,
since
but
I've driven the MX5, and especially with the new tire model, so
wait till they roll it out on your GT3, you won't be saying that.
well, nice little 4-way battle here for P4. We've got Kenneth Andreessen currently in P10, so he is making up some positions. He is chasing down Mr. Fouquet, who's in P9.
So Dennis Mives has been in and out of the pit, so I'm assuming the window of refueling has now opened.
Yeah, Duncan Kirby is really showing himself into the mirrors of Mr. Ramirez, but I'm not quite sure if that's... I mean, Ramirez is going really defensive. That makes it easier for Chris Slaymaker to maybe run away a little bit.
Martin has got, not to wish to cut across, but Martin is just taking the inside on T1, Mr. Torres.
And he's taken P1 indeed. He's taken P1 indeed. There you go, nice, clean, clear overtake. Oh, Oh, struggled a little bit with the exit, but he keeps it in front of Mr. Torres.
Good evening, Roberto. Good night.
Good evening, Roberto.
Was it flying visit, was it?
Good evening. Good evening.
They want to see P5, P6, P7 battle. We'll go to that in a sec. We just want to keep an eye on this. They're still technically the closest two on the track.
Oh, but I think something happened because Mr. Ramirez is now almost 2 seconds behind Mr. Slaymaker, so not quite sure. And Craig Harris just overtaken Duncan Kirby. So I think, Phil, if you could go for a little bit of replay action. Oh, nice little move. Yeah.
Left the door open.
Nice move by Mr. Harris. Duncan Kirby again running a little bit wide on the exit of
Hector's
turn
gone
1.
wide. There has been a little bit of contact.
Oh, but all seems to be good.
Should be alright. Should be okay.
But that makes it for Mr. Kirby to go on the inside of Craig Harris again. Some side-by-side action. Oh, seemed like a little bit of a squeeze.
Gone wide.
Yeah, oh. He keeps the car in a straight position, but he's losing 2 positions now. I think he just took a little bit too much speed into turn 1. It seemed a little bit of a squeeze to Duncan Kirby as well, but that made him go wide. But that gives it a gap to Chris Slaymaker of 3.2 seconds, so he's got a little bit of more breathing room now. Torres still on the back of Martin. Is he going to go for a move at the chicane? No, he doesn't. He stays behind him.
But he's got a great exit. He's gone wide. Martin's gone wide.
He has gone very wide.
That's not helpful.
Well, it is for Mr. Torres, but...
Yeah, it is for Mr. Torres, but not for Martin.
That's cost him a good second. He's already 0.7 behind.
Right. So I think we're getting close to the first pit stops for some of the guys that are normally quite soon with their pit stops during the race. As we're 20 minutes in the race already.
Gap at the front is just extended to just under a second. So as long as Martin can actually stay within that second, then hopefully he's still got a chance to kind of pull the gap back. Obviously,
I think he will.
Yeah.
And going up from the pace of Ramirez and Craig Harris compared to Duncan Kirby, it could be down that the 3-way battle will be back in a couple of laps. Let's hope so. That's nice to see. And here we see Arnaud Chandelier battling with Fouquet for 8th position.
God, I'm pretty sure that livery would give me a migraine after a while.
I love it.
I really like it. It reminds me of childhood.
Oh, he's got to slow down. He has got to slow down. He cut the corner. So that's really a shame. Gives Arnaud Chandelier again that breathing room, but it's a shame. He was doing really well. But yeah, I love that sort of livery. I'm not quite sure they had a name for it, but I'm not quite sure what it was again. Can't remember. So Martin closed the gap down to under half a second, Phil. So seems like the battle for P1 is still on.
Yeah, it sure is. He's still closing the gap. So what is it? 0.3 of a second at the moment. 0.2 of a second. Right on the bumper again. He's going into the pits.
Oh, Torres has gone in the pits. He's in the pits.
Ooh, different strategy. It's nice to see. Nice to see.
Oh, look how bumpy that pit lane is.
Yeah, wow.
Is that because of the speed limit? Holy.
Did you see what Morgan Thompson won on Instagram? Enlighten us, Kieran. What did he win?
He won a SimLabs
P1? P1X?
P1X. Yeah, it's like
What's
700
that?
euros.
Direct drive.
No, it's a sim rig that's made out of
scaffolding.
80/40
Profiles.
profile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really,
What was
really
that, competition,
expensive.
was
Yeah,
it?
yeah. He just won it on Facebook. Really good.
So you can actually win things on Facebook. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who
Didn't
would have thought?
It still
one
doesn't
of
make
our
me
other
want to
lads
use it.
win? Didn't somebody else win some pedals off someone?
I know Philip Bush did want some
Yeah.
pedals,
Yeah.
but
Some
it.
Hibus-
I
what-
think
what's
I
that
think it
fancy
took
one?
him. I think it took him 4 months to eventually get them though. But he did win pedals. Right. Oh, and Mr. Martin is into the pits. So Santiago is leading the race, but we're gonna have to see where Martin comes out compared to Mr. Torres. Not quite sure where Mr. Torres is on track at the moment. Oh, he's coming across the start finish now. And Martin is coming out. But he extended his lead.
Yeah, there's a bit of a distance there.
There definitely is.
So good strategy then.
Question is though, did he took enough fuel to go to the end? You'll never know.
Yeah, of course he will. Well, we'll find out at the minute, won't we? Another 15 minutes if that make it across the line.
Unfortunately, up until this round of the season, we never had the same sort of ending as we had in the TCR races. So I think Martin and Torres, and now the same for Arnaud Chanier as well, were the first three people to make their stop, or their regular stop at least.
See, my commentator's curse worked. I said it might get a bit spread out.
Well, we still got a battle going on between Duncan Kirby and Ramirez.
Third and fourth, yeah.
Craig Harris unfortunately dropped off a little bit, and he's now 3.8 seconds behind, so that's a shame because it was looking for a nice four-way battle until they were actually battling it out for position. But that gives Chris Slaymaker some room. Then we have the quickest lap time so far during the race for Luis Santiago with a 1:18.706. And Mr. Torres with a 1:18.8, and Martin also with a 1:87. But that's quite surprising. Well, there you see it. I mean, doing one very quick lap doesn't necessarily mean that you're running in front. Nice little action of Chris Needham with Arnaud Channonier right behind, but Arnaud Channonier of course pitted, so he will gain some positions back, I'd imagine. David Patterson is now into the pit as well.
So the battle for the amateur appears to be in the second half of the race between 10th and 11th, which is Dennis Meiser and Chris Needham. Currently second behind it. And Chris is actually closing the gap a little bit, so hopefully he can keep the pressure on. But they are
Kenneth Andresen, who is our AM Championship leader, is currently in 13th position.
Oh no, you're quite right. I misread that. I was thinking Mr. Meisner was. Apologies for that. I've got my names.
No, I think Dennis Meister is a pro driver, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He is. Sorry, I was thinking of him was Andreasen for some reason. So Chris Needham's actually leading the amateurs at the moment. Oh, I said commentator's curse.
Yeah,
Look at that.
wow, we've just got a Mercedes situation. He's just said wave him by, let Lewis by.
Let him by, let him by. Yes, I think.
See you later, Bottas.
Checks in the post. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kieran. Good to see Pedersen still going. But it's first time this season that we're on a track that, as it seems to be, doesn't really is a good track for Kenneth. Normally he is leading the field quite well in the AM Championship, and he's running in the top 5, 6 overall, but not this race. I think it's just unfortunate Darren Goebel couldn't join the race tonight.
I heard he was literally 5 minutes too late, which is rather
Oh.
irritating.
Yeah.
But hey, got to pay the bills. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true. So we've got Fouquet into the pit now, but still, I think Santiago, Slaymaker, Kirby, and Ramirez, and Harris all have to pit. Ooh, nice little battle between Dennis Meisner and Arnaud Chenonnier. Arnaud Chenonnier tucking in right behind him, but Dennis Meisner having the defensive line into the last chicane. Not quite sure if that was the best thing to do for Arnaud Chenonnier to keep it on the outside. Lost him a lot of time, which makes Chris Needham and Kenneth Andresen closing up on him. Ooh, Andresen late on the brakes. Nice move. Went on the outside of Chris Needham. Nicely done. So there we've got Santiago, Slaymaker, and Ramirez in the pits, but Duncan Kirby still going. Craig Harris coming in as well. So out of the top 7, only Duncan Kirby has to make his stop.
So coming up to 2/3 of the way through the race. Technically, Mr. Torres is winning because Duncan Kirby's still got a pit at the moment, with Martin in second, who struggling to claw back the gap he lost with the pit. So he's still showing, I think, let's be honest, the CV that says 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Behind.
Phil, what is the time for the pit stops?
Let's have a quick little look. So who has pitted? So it's about 20 seconds that they're stationary. That's the fuel they're taking on board.
Right.
Lane time about 44 seconds.
Okay, good to know. And while you're saying that, we got a very nice battle between Dennis Meisner, Chenonnier, and Kenneth Andresen.
There's 4 of them actually, isn't there?
Ooh, and Arnaud Chenonnier on the outside of Dennis Meisner. That's going to be close.
Him. He's gone wide.
Yeah, that's Dennis Meisner going off. Does he keeps his car out of the wall though? From this angle, it looked like Dennis Meisner lost his the rear of the car just a little bit.
There was
which cost him.
No, it was a touch with Arnold, I think, but passing have a little look.
Yeah.
Just tapped the front quarter.
Yeah. I think.
Looks like he just maybe turns it a little bit too early, though, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but also, like, Arnold maybe kept his line a little bit to the outside, so they tried to went for the same line, sort of. But again, that will be an incident that will be taken care of by race control, I'd imagine. So Duncan Kirby has pitted as well and came back in 6th position.
Arnold Chenonnier just lost the position. No, he hasn't. He's gained it back. Or has he? Oh, hello. What's going on here? He's back through. So Kenny Andreas soon it is. Yes, they're very close. They've sort of changed between 2 or 3 corners. It looks like Arnold might get this back again.
Oh, but
no, he hasn't. Right. Oof.
All went well this time. Means Mr. Andresen is up to P8. But look at that gap that Mr. Torres has built to Martin.
Yeah.
8.1 seconds in the lead.
So looking at the times, his pit stop was 4 seconds faster than Martin. That's it. That is a lot.
Yeah, but looking at the time that Ramirez did, he also did a 41.7. So, but the question is, will it be enough?
Yeah. Will they have enough fuel?
I think so. I mean, I'm just looking. You look down the list. You got a 39.91 line. You got a 41.7 and a 40.7. So it's conceivable that it doesn't necessarily mean there's an error. Could it be the other way around?
Yeah,
44
true.
is quite high, isn't it? You know, but there are a few 44s, 45s. It's that visor tear off.
Looking at Ben Charlton, Ben Charlton did it in 39.9 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So he has made the quickest stop and is currently running in P11.
Has he used a little bit less fuel? Who knows? We shall find out shortly.
Oh, we will. So we've got a nice little battle going on again between Mr. Slaymaker Ramirez and Duncan Kirby is closing the gap as well.
Blimey, we got 4 Spaniards in the top 5, I've just noticed.
Oh, Arnaud Channonier trying to go for the inside move, but it doesn't work. Mr. Andration still in front. So again, good evening to everybody watching. I hope you're enjoying this race. There's quite some action going on, which is nice to see. If you're not following, give us the follow. Chris has a nice little gap to Mr. Ramirez. Duncan Kirby is weaving around a little bit, showing himself to Ramirez as well. Oh, looked like they all went a little bit wide on the exit of that chicane. And Ramirez went a little bit defensive, and Duncan Kirby had a good first turn, so he's right on the back of him now. And there you see Ramirez missing the apex, going a little bit wide, which puts Duncan Kirby on his outside. But will he have the inside for the next right-hander? We will surely find out.
So Arnold Channonier in turn 1 has just managed to sneak the line here. He's just looking to hold it. I don't think he's got quite enough momentum to go through. Oh, it's close. He snuck through, but I think Dennis Miser might have the momentum up the hill now.
I think you're talking about Andresen.
Oh, am I?
Yes, sir.
For Lord's sake, sorry. I don't know why I'm getting these two confused. My old age. So Arnold Channonier's held off Kenneth Andresen then.
It sure seems to be, and oh, it's a lovely three-way battle still for P4 with about 8 minutes left into this session. And I think Chris is hoping that Duncan can put the pressure on Ramirez. So Ramirez has to look behind instead of trying to go for the move on Chris. There we've got somebody cheering on for Kenneth.
4K's just taken 13th off Jason Harrington. Nice little train developing here between these three. They've bunched right up now. And Ramirez is having a little look on T1. Can he keep it tight? Chris does just about enough to keep it in front. And Duncan Kirby's having a little look now. Right? Ramirez is closing the door there.
Yeah, and I think it's the right move for Duncan to stay out of it. We see what can happen when they do touch.
Duncan just got a little bit wide there.
Yes, he did.
Rumbles. So Andreasen and Chanier's at it again. They swap positions.
And I'm looking at the last 2-3 laps by Mr. Torres. It was a low 120 and now 2 mid-20s. So I'm asking if...
3 temps in it.
Yeah, well, would he be maybe fuel saving a little bit?
Well, just sort
he get close to it. I mean,
Martin's lap time come up and there was only 3 temps in it, so even if he's doing it, he's not going to be enough laps left to claw anything back significant.
No, that's true.
8 seconds is a lot to claw back in, what, 4 laps at best?
Well, yeah, that could be the case. That could be the case that he maybe burn his tires a little bit, but
I don't know. His last lap was a 120.7. Last lap of P1 was a 120.6, and last lap of P2 was a 120.3. So
again.
Oh, in the background we see Dennis Meister having a bit of a moment coming out of the chicane, but he managed to keep his car pointing in the right direction.
Ramirez is right on the back of Mr. Slaymaker at the moment, putting a lot of pressure on him. And try and force him into a mistake. Ooh.
Dennis Meissner going for some sightseeing.
Going the old tourist route. Chris is back in. Oof, I thought the back end was creeping out for a second. He's going to have a look, but he's on the wrong side.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if that's the right thing to do, though.
Mr. Kirby's taking advantage of both of them.
Exactly. Well, that's my point. I mean, why stay on the outside before the last chicane, knowing that you're going to have a bad exit, but Duncan Kirby is still on the outside.
You try and block one, and then the other one comes through.
Duncan Kirby trying to take a little bit of a shorter line through turn 1, but Ramirez still holding his position. Lovely little train going on in those last couple of minutes of this race. I'd imagine we have about 3 to 4 laps left.
Where are we? 41, 42. Yeah, probably 3 laps, I'm guessing. Where's Mr. Torres on track? Can you stick the map up a sec, Phil? Little look. Are you going to tell me it is up?
It's up now. It's up.
It is up now. Torres is just
wide turn. Yeah.
Excuse me. Torres is just crossed the start. He's going through T1 as we speak. So
and Ramirez is taking the position pretty much from Chris Slaymaker. He's on the inside now for the chicane. Duncan Kirby right behind. Ooh. He's going to make it 3 wide. No, he doesn't. He tucks right back in. So it's exciting.
Oh no, there's been... Yeah, there has been contact.
Yeah.
And Hector Hernandez Ramirez has come off worse from it.
So let's have a look. Yeah, I don't think Chris. I mean, Chris couldn't go anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, he was still there, so.
Yeah. And they were side by side. It's not like Ramirez had that overlap. Oh. Has he taken that much rear damage that his rear suspension is gone?
Oh no.
It does seem to be. Or, yeah, the car's scrubbing. He's going to pit.
Yeah, he's had to pit. That is his race, but he is. I mean, he's still back out again, so he's managed to pit and come back out again. So that is good to see. It's just a bit of a shame for the battle.
Definitely is. But that puts Duncan Kirby into P4, as he took the most advantage out of that battle going on. And Martin is now 9 seconds behind Torres, so in the last couple of laps he extended his lead. But unfortunately, that has taken out the nice little action.
Yeah, I
Well,
thought
as we're joining the leader then, we
Yeah.
are with the leader now, on his last lap potentially here. Where is he? I'm just trying to...
just in the last sector coming up to the final
yeah.
straight.
So unless he... it's going to be another lap then. Oh, that's a pain. Well, let's see what happens with the fuel then. Let's see if it does become an issue. Just scooting through the table quickly, there's nobody else really sort of battling at the moment. I think we've had our glut of action there with the freeway earlier.
We've got Duncan Kirby and Chris Slaymaker fighting out for a nice little CXR battle. See where the leader is then.
2/3 of the way round, I think. Coming up the top part of the course.
And looking by the pace he has and extending his lead now to 9.7 seconds, it doesn't seem to me that he has problems with fuel.
Well, yeah, he's got enough room to get out and push it if he needs to.
We're going to finish the race, so it is the last lap.
And there we go. So
there we have
Torres
it.
wins.
Mr. Torres wins the Donington National for round 6 of the season.
So that's 5 out of 6 for him.
And there we've got Mr. I think Martin tried to go for some style points there.
Trying to drift an MX5 in a straight line at speed is quite hard, I think.
There we've got Santiago with a very good 3rd place.
Well, we might have a side-by-side action between Chris Slaymaker and Duncan Kirby.
Ooh. It's going to be Duncan Kirby. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Very close. Very nice. So Duncan Kirby just took P4 and Chris Slaymaker in P5.
P5th.
P5th. Now we've got Craig Harris in P6. Unfortunate that he wasn't into the battles anymore, because he was fighting for P4 at one point. There we have it. Kenneth Engel Andreessen, who was running at P15 somewhere during the race, finishes in P7. Arnaud Channonier in P8. Ramirez, who had an unfortunate incident there, is finishing in P9. And Dennis Meisner in P10. So looking at that, I think all the drivers are finished.
They sure are, and here are the results.
Mark.
Okie dokie. So, no surprise, our winner, 5 out of 6 for Juan Torres. Ron Martin in 2nd, Luis Santiago 3rd, Duncan Kirby and Chris Slaymaker finishing over the line together, Duncan with the advantage in 4th. 6th, Craig Harris, Kenneth Andreessen 7th, Arnold Chonier in 8th, Hector Ramirez 9th, Dennis Meisner in 10th, Ben Charlton 11th, Chris Needham 12th, Yannick 4K in 13th, Jason Hamilton 14th, David Patterson 15th, Alex Hurt 16th after the great qualifying session he had. Matt Grant with the overturn, and Daniel James unfortunately didn't see the race out, 17th and 18th position.
But looking at Alex finishing in P16, only 2 laps behind, I didn't think. We thought he had a blown engine, didn't he?
That's right, yeah.
So not quite sure.
He must have taken his free repair then to repair the engine, and then he got back out on track. So that is a good effort to finish the race after having so many problems beforehand. So welcome in the effort.
So next week, round 7, we are at
Alton.
A track I hate, Alton Park.
Lovely stuff. Alton Park Island. That's going to be a good one for the MX5s.
Yeah, it should.
But you've got to take the rough with the smooth, because the week after that is probably the best one of the lot. So
yeah, it's one that has proved to be a good little
good choice.
event. Yeah,
yes.
so yeah. So on to next week at Alton Park. So we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you for joining. Cheers to Ruben. Cheers to Mark for commentating.
Cheers, Phil.
Good evening and good night all.
Everybody have a good night.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.